Welcome back to Red Army Reaction, episode 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
Week 3.
Yeah. Still, it'd be nice to open an episode after a win at some point.
Yeah, still awaiting our first win of the season.
But we'll get there.
We got a point on the board.
Yeah. The mumbling was still an issue for me on the second episode.
Okay.
I still need to work on that.
Yeah.
I don't want to go too far.
No, you don't want to sound like Brian Blessed or something. Yeah. Or me. Well, I'm not.
You sound a lot like Brian Blessed.
I do.
But something I need to work on, probably just in life as well as on the podcast.
We'll bear that in mind.
Yeah. A draw against Fulham.
Yes. Not what we needed, really.
No, not what we were hoping for. We were in Edinburgh to watch it.
Yes. Thought we might miss the game, but we circumstances aligned and we were able to catch it. Not that we caught much. But felt a distinct air of last season about it, I think.
Yeah,
that sort of game. Saw plenty of them last season, and we were hoping to see fewer of them this year.
Yeah, hoping they might be a thing of the past.
Yeah. What did you make of it? Start to finish, what was your...
I thought we started well.
Yeah.
Similar to Arsenal, probably created a couple of chances, mainly for Cunha. And then we didn't score, and we stopped looking like scoring.
Yeah.
And the penalty incident it would have been good. The penalty didn't come from a promising attack or anything. It was from a corner. Those penalties will probably not be given a lot of times this season.
No.
But it was given, and it would have been good to get that goal.
Yes, settle some nerves.
Yeah, take a bit of the pressure off.
Yeah.
Get our first goal of the season, it would have been at the time. And then, settle into the game a bit. But it just unsettled us, really. And after that point, we never really looked great.
Yeah. Flattered to deceive a little bit after that. Lots of the ball, and not a huge amount of threat from Fulham, but sort of ineffective possession, which was a bit of a blight on the team last season. I think far too much of the progression of the ball comes from Yoro and the keeper.
Yeah.
And it's odd. We seem to be set up to not utilise the midfield with the ball, which is a way of setting up a team. It's an approach, but then Bruno Fernandes in there isn't a shielder or a shuttler.
No.
So it's sort of a compromise that doesn't suit anyone at the moment.
It definitely doesn't suit Bruno. He's had 2 very quiet games now.
Yeah. Could have seen him. Could have got a goal today. And I don't know about you, I do this thing when I watch Bruno take a penalty. Is I think for the first sort of 10 seconds, I'm like, oh, is he going to score? And then my brain resolves to, he always scores. What are you worried about? So I genuinely sort of couldn't believe that he put it over the bar.
He's missed 1 or 2 for United, but not for a while.
He's missed 5 in the league.
5 in the league for United?
The most of any player since he joined the league.
Right. But he's also probably scored the most in that time. Yeah. It's been a couple of years since he missed 1 in the league.
Yeah.
And it just seems just wrong.
I
don't want to play into or read too much into him bumping into the referee.
No.
But a lot of players, they take it very seriously, the preparations for taking the penalty.
Definitely, yeah.
It is going to unsettle you a little bit, but
I think the last penalty he missed, I sent you the footage of it a while back, and I'm not going to use the phrase missed on purpose, but the 2 penalties that he's missed, the one, was it West Ham?
No, Villa at home, where he put it over the bar.
Very similar. He struck both of those penalties in a way I have never seen him score a penalty.
Yeah.
When he scores a penalty, he plays it low. He sometimes steps, but he sometimes doesn't step, but he always plays it low.
He sometimes puts his foot through it a bit.
But he never hits it like that.
No, like he's taking a rugby conversion.
Yeah, and obviously, if Harry Maguire puts it over the bar, you think, well, it's not that far away from what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
It's not the biggest shock, but Fernandes does that, and you think it must be a mental thing. It's not. He's switched to that technique rather than got his very reliable technique wrong. It's just an odd one. And so there must be something in his head where he goes, the best way for me to score this now is to leather it. If I try and think too much about it, I'll overthink it and get it wrong. So I'm just going to leather it, and it doesn't. It's not
Yeah,
worked
yeah.
on 2 occasions.
It's bizarre one. I get, like you say, I don't want to read into any theory that he missed on purpose. I don't believe for a second that he
No,
did, but it is very strange, and he seemed just in a bad mood. Bruno often plays in a bad mood.
and he sometimes plays better in a bad.
Yeah, but not yesterday. It was a strange one for him. We got the goal, not through any
United player.
great endeavour of our own,
No,
but it's like we did so many times last season. We didn't kick on, didn't get a second goal,
no,
and we sort of invited them back into the game.
no. I'd like to pay slight tribute to Lenny Yoro. He didn't get given the goal, but he was great again yesterday.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
He's had 2 very good games. Him and Delict. And sure, I suppose we've not. They've not. None of them have made a huge mistake.
No.
Shaw wasn't great on Fulham's goal
yeah,
yesterday.
he left his man a little bit.
But again, no one was tracking from midfield, so the defence can only react quite late to that. I think Shaw, Yoro, and Delict have all had 2 good games, and they should have more points to go for it. I think.
Yeah,
Between the three of them.
Creating chances is definitely still an issue. We
Mm.
had a couple for Cunha. The best chance of the game was created by Ende.
Yeah.
And then
Not our most reliable of chance creation methods.
And second half, I can't remember a chance in the second half, a clear cut chance that you think we should have scored.
No, nothing obvious. A couple of snatched sort of the Maguire header. Set pieces.
Set
We're not.
There was Agate had a shot from 30 yards that went miles wide.
Yeah,
maybe we could have had a chance from that, but not
tricky.
Better enough from last season.
No, quiet game from Burmo.
Yeah,
did well for the corner. He's always going to be reliable from them, but he's not really got. I think with him and Cunha, I think when one goes in, they'll settle a bit. They've not looked overawed by any means, but they're both sort of quite confidence-based players.
Yeah.
So you feel like they get one in, then things should open up for them a bit. And Šeško playing as well will help that if Šeško can start.
We could do with getting him ready to
I think
start.
he'll probably start against Grimsby.
Yeah, I thought it'd be a good opportunity. We didn't really create anything for him.
No,
Šeško, I can't remember him. He had one header against Arsenal that wasn't really a
half chance. Yeah,
and I can't really remember him having a shot yesterday.
No, a couple of nice moments in Link Up, I think.
But once we got to that final third, there wasn't really enough happening.
I said with signing Šeško, I was more okay with it because we'd signed 2 reliable goal scorers behind him.
Yeah,
and until they look like reliable goal scorers, then it's going to look like
it's
Šeško. I think I'm still confident between the 3 of them, they will score the right number of goals this season.
Yeah,
for 2 great Premier League players and a young striker. It's not got going yet, but I'm not, by any means writing them off yet. After 2 quiet games.
Yeah, you say you're still confident. The game yesterday, for a lot of people, spoke to wider issues, and a lot of people, and I was surprised by this slightly, seem to have flipped on the manager. Because I suppose the reason for it is there was so much riding on. We have to be a lot better this season.
Yeah.
Arsenal at home, we were good.
Yeah.
We didn't get the win, but then Fulham away is the kind of game that.
Yeah,
if we got a lot better, we need to be winning those games. And I don't want to. What I don't like is when teams struggling, the whole debate or whole conversation around the manager and the players becomes manager in or manager out.
No,
and I don't want to get sucked into that, and it's very early for that as well.
Yeah.
But a lot of people seem to have faltered on the manager because we haven't. It's only 2 games, but we look the same as last season.
Absolutely, and nobody could sit here and defend his record because there is no record.
0 points in games.
Yeah,
that's relegation form. Really.
Yeah. I think it's make or break. He's got probably a couple of months before serious questions need to be asked.
Yeah.
But, we've spoken about ending the cycle of fire and hire of managers coming and going and being better than teams like Chelsea who not so much anymore. Well, Pochettino, but who had a habit of sacking
Yeah.
managers
And it
much more
worked for
readily.
them, but we didn't want to do that.
No, but there's a good squad there. There is still issues with the squad, but it's not a relegation squad. It's
No.
a top half Premier League squad, and there's been backing, and yeah, it's sort of time to see what you're made of.
Yeah. And the questions are starting to be asked and will continue to be asked.
Yeah.
If we don't start winning games reliably. It's bizarre as a United fan. Even with the last 10 years, they've not been as good as what we were used to. But now we've just become so accustomed to not winning games, going into games just not
Yeah.
expecting to win, really. Even Fulham and West Ham's and
Yeah,
Everton's, we don't beat them reliably.
No, there's always been a case of, even when we've not been good enough, we've been good enough to beat a decent number of teams.
Yeah.
We're not really not used to being a below average Premier League side, even when we've been a below average United side.
Yeah. Like, to not win 2 games in a row in the league last season is unthinkable.
Yeah.
And it's the questions do need to be asked. I think we're a long way off sacking yet, and I don't want to even talk about that really.
Yeah,
because like I say, there should be more nuance to it of should the manager be sacked or not.
Yeah,
but we've signed a lot of players, and it's not the case, I don't think, like it has been previously, where if we sack the manager, we've got all these players that are designed for him, and then we'll have to sign all the next manager's players. We seem to be recruiting players that are just good and fit into a lot of systems, adaptable. And we're not. The squad is not perfect, but it's not in a point where we shouldn't be beating anyone.
No.
It's in a point where the manager, when they ask him for backing, you should be, I've done all this with these players. If you get me these 2 or 3 players, I'll get you right to the top. Yeah. Rather than I need all of these players before I can win a game.
Yeah, absolutely. There's, like I say, on paper, there's very little to sort of point to as a reason to keep him. And we've had it before where the only reason to not sack the manager is because you don't want to sack managers. That's often a bad place to get into. That's sort of a, dead man walking kind of situation. I would say he's not helping himself at the moment. He's making decisions that lots of people can see are not working. And there are things you could do as a United manager when things aren't working to keep the fans on side.
Yeah.
One of them is to play young players.
Yeah,
and to
academy players. We've not seen a minute from an academy player.
Which is a real shame. Play the fan favourites. Obviously, the fans love Bruno.
Yeah.
But
some of them.
Yeah.
He's a divisive character, even among United fans, but generally
he
is liked.
And I do think he's liked amongst match-going fans.
Yeah.
And match-going fans' opinion seems to hold a lot of sway. Or, it's a lot more directly relevant and noticeable to the manager.
Yeah.
I think that you can buy yourself time in that regard.
Yeah.
By playing young academy players. And it's not like, why isn't he throwing in a kid who's got no experience?
Yeah.
Kobbie Mainoo is an established first-team United player.
Man of the match in the FA Cup
who's
final,
done
played in
a
the
lot of good
Euros
stuff.
final.
I think even the most ardent Bruno Fernandes defender would say he's not had 2 good games. And he said yesterday, Amorim, when asked why Kobbie's not playing, he said he's competing with Bruno Fernandes. Yeah. If he's competing with the Bruno Fernandes we've seen in the first 2 games, he should be ahead of it.
Yeah, he should be given a chance. How can he have the chance to compete with Bruno if even when Bruno's playing badly, he doesn't even bring on Mainoo?
He leaves. He's not the threat that Bruno is, but Bruno is playing in a position that doesn't utilise that threat in any way.
And Mainoo's abilities would be better suited to that.
He is a great small space player. He can progress the ball really well.
Yeah.
When we're looking at, do you want to give the ball to Fernandes, who will try and pick a pass over 40 yards, or do you want to give the ball to Kobbie Mainoo, who's able to beat a man and bring all the players into the game? There are lots of different ways of moving the ball from one end of the pitch to the other, and Kobbie is very capable of doing it. I don't see on the basis of the first 2 games, I don't see what you lose by taking Fernandes out of that position.
No.
And I think he would rather play further forward. I think he would rather
Yeah,
compete with Mbeumo and Cunha, even though they're new signings and
yeah,
they are very good players. I think he would rather be. He's older now and he can't run at 1,000,000 miles an hour for 90 minutes of 60 games this season like he used to. But he should recognise that he is being, and it's down to the manager as well. Definitely, he is being underutilized and misused in that position, and it's hurting him and the team.
yeah. And this seems to only ever be seen as an issue at United if you have more than one good player in a position. We
Yeah,
can have Cunha and Burmo and Fernandez competing for those two positions,
yeah,
and it doesn't have to be an issue that one of them in every game isn't going to start.
no, absolutely
Real
not.
Madrid have more than two good wingers and more than one good striker.
Yeah, yeah,
So they have competition for places where they're all good.
yeah, yeah.
Some teams you have a clear first team and everyone else is happy to be on the bench, and that's just the way it works.
Yeah,
But that's not the way it works at City. There's always
no,
been rotation in the important positions, apart from maybe Rodri, and Haaland. But in terms of those midfield and wing positions, they don't start the same midfield and wingers every game,
no, no.
and it's a good thing if you have multiple players who can make an
Yeah,
impact.
and it's absolutely the case that we cannot at the moment play our three exciting new forward signings, our best player and a player who a lot of people think we should build the team around.
Yeah,
There is with this system, which I don't think any system, we can't play Cunha and Burmo, Sheshko, Fernandez, and Menu.
no,
I don't see how you can string all those players together.
yeah,
And off the basis of the first two games, the player to step out at this moment should be Bruno,
yeah,
because it's difficult to judge Cunha and Burmo on the basis of the last two games because one, they're new signings. Two, the team hasn't played great, especially against Fulham. The team hasn't played great, and so you're asking a lot of them to pick up the ball and create chances for themselves, which they're capable of doing. But
you
you
don't
want
want to
to
rely
see
on
them,
them doing that every
yeah,
time.
you want the team to improve with them in it
Yeah,
because we know what they can do. I'm a huge fan of Bruno Fernandes, and I'm not writing him off as a United player
yeah.
by any means.
And he's been our best player for 5 years.
Yeah, he deserves every bit of credit that a player can have as a United player.
Yeah. But we've been over reliant on him in the past, and it's not necessarily a bad thing if we stop relying on him at all. Where he's a player in the squad who's really good, he can do great things, but we don't have to play him every game.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'd like to see him play further forward. I think it would be exciting to see him play with Sheshko and Burmo further forward, or with Cunha at number 10, number 9, and Bruno off him. There's a lot of exciting combinations up there. I think the current system is making him look worse and making us play worse, and there's very little upside to it.
Yeah. There's been rumours this window of selling both Mainu and Fernandez. Separate rumours, not as in we're going to sell them both.
No.
They both seem to have gone away. And with a week left of the window, I can't realistically see us selling Mainu or Fernandez. Apparently, there's fresh interest from Saudi in Bruno.
And Kobe's not particularly happy with the way contracts have gone and the way he's not played a minute.
Yeah.
There's a lot of...
But I think those kind of sales, I can't see us doing that in the last week of the window.
No.
I think they'll both be here for the season.
Yeah.
But long term, I think now, if we were to sell one of them, I think the tide has definitely turned against Fernandez in that. Where if you're as a United fan had to pick one of those two players to sell, it would be Fernandez. Not just because Mainu's 10 years younger, but people want to build the team around Mainu.
Yeah, I think people like the version of United that they can envisage with Kobe as the sort of star of it. And, he's a local lad and he's not the sort of player that United should sell.
Yeah.
He's, it's not the same as selling Danny Welbeck or Scott McTominay, who had a good run in the side, ultimately probably weren't a top-level player, and therefore,
they've done well since they left.
Yeah.
But...
No, and it's not the same as selling Ronaldo or, selling a player who has shown what they can do at United. He's still the unknown. but
Yeah.
we've seen such a high level from him at such a young age that to then cash in on that feels sort of the antithesis of
Of
what
United.
United should be doing.
Yeah. Seems like Chelsea kind of move. Like
Yeah,
similar with the manager thing. That's not the kind of club we've
no.
tried to be, certainly
Also,
in history.
I think it would be beyond what Chelsea do. I think it would be sort of unprecedented as a big side in the Premier League. I
Yeah.
can't think of a player who's come through as a star from the academy, not really put a foot wrong, not had any issues, and then just been moved out of the team.
Yeah. It'd be like if we sold Rashford in like 2018
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah,
It would
I
make
can't think of an
no
example.
sense.
It would be like City selling Foden 5 years ago.
Yeah.
There's teams don't do it,
Yeah.
and
We
United
certainly don't
definitely
want to be the
don't
team
want to be the
do
team
that.
to start doing it.
No.
And I don't think we will. I think they understand the sort of bad press that would be, and that is very much a make or break decision. And it's that is you do that, you win the league in 2 years, or you're out. As
Yeah,
as
yeah.
a club, as an infrastructure, as everything, you can't make that sort of decision without immediately backing it up with a lot of
Yeah.
good news.
And for a lot of fans, nothing would be enough
No,
for
no,
that.
I think
That
it's
would be quite literally selling your soul
yeah,
to win the title, and that's not worth it. United win titles, but they do it.
yeah,
So the identity of the club is winning stuff,
yeah,
but it's also that youth academy thing,
absolutely.
and getting rid of one is not worth the other.
No, and like I said, I don't think they would. I think they recognise the rod it would make for their own back and the scrutiny it would put on them.
Yeah,
And, I think they are conscious of that.
yeah. He's got 2 years on his deal. If he's not signed a deal by next summer, I think he'll be sold
Which,
because he's a really valuable player.
yeah, they're not going to let him leave on a free. So they're going to sell him. And it's not going to be a case of who do we get to sign him? It's going to be a case of lots of clubs really want him.
Yeah.
So let's hope we don't get to that point. Let's hope. I mean, I think if he gets in the team, he'll stay there. I think he will demonstrate a lot of the stuff we know he can do. And I'm hopeful that the manager will see that. I don't know if there is a midfield signing yet to come. But I think it's an odd one where I think a midfield signing makes it more likely that Kobe plays because I think there is.
Yeah.
I think he trusts the pair of Bruno and Casemiro.
Yeah.
And they have their faults, but they're very experienced players and they have a lot of knowledge of the game and can read the game quite well. Bruno wanders off, and Casemiro is immobile at times, but they are generally a safe-ish option there.
Yeah.
I don't think he would play one of them with Kobe.
No, I can't see Casemiro and Mainu being a two-man midfield, and certainly not Mainu and Fernandes.
So I think assigning someone, a proper shuttler who can cover both sides, who can shield the space well, could potentially. We're not talking about unlocking players again, like we did with Paul Pogba, but I think there is a potential that a young, energetic defensive midfielder allows them to play different combinations in there that they don't feel confident they can do at the moment.
Yeah, because it seems to me that his preferred pair, it seems to everyone, his preferred pair in that midfield is Casemiro and Fernandes. And in terms of forward planning, they're 33 and 31?
Yeah.
So they're not going to be our midfield too long term. Mainu is, to me, and maybe this isn't how it works, but you see that as Mainu is the successor to Fernandes, and it ideally would have been Agate, but it's not. He's not the long-term successor to Casemiro.
Or Baleba.
Yeah, so someone who comes in is the successor in that other role, and you can manage that slowly. It doesn't have to be tomorrow that they're the first choice pair, but there has to be a pathway there.
Yeah,
and currently that's not there for Mainu. And I don't know if we're going to sign that midfielder this window.
No, no. It'll be interesting to see what they do. We do feel slightly unequipped for the rest of the season with the options we've got in
Yeah,
there.
in midfield, definitely. A lot of people said that was the issue last season, and they expected that to not be as much of an issue. But against Fulham, it was an issue midfield.
Yeah, yeah, and it will be. There are teams that often managers are quoted as saying that they know they can get to the United midfield,
Yeah, yeah,
and that allows us to get more joy progressing the ball down the wings and through the centre halves. But we aren't reliably controlling the ball, and so we spend a lot of time without the ball, and it's having an obvious weakness when you've not got the ball is something that in the Premier League is going to get punished. And we saw that against Fulham, less so against Arsenal. I don't think they pushed our midfield much at all, but Iwobi was very bright against Fernandes and Casemiro and was able to enjoy himself in those spaces. And when Smith Rowe came on, he was able to do the same and was able to drift through and first touch equalise the game.
yeah. And bringing Ugarte on for Casemiro didn't really fix any of those issues.
No, it felt it wasn't a.
Well, we originally put Mount back in midfield with Bruno, which has other issues.
Yeah.
It's a lightweight midfield, and then bring Ugarte on when we were 1-0 up. It's just.
Yeah.
It didn't work. It didn't work yesterday. The midfield wasn't really there at any point of the game.
No, I think they were. I think that's the big problem to be solved. And I think there are options within the squad to do it and within the market to make a big upgrade there, but and I think there is the will there to do it as well. The club have talked to midfielders seemingly and look like they are willing to sign a midfielder, and certainly able to sign a player who can play at this level. So I'm interested to see if they pull the trigger. I would very much like them to.
Yeah, it seems like a goalkeeper signing might be imminent in Lamans.
Yeah.
As always, you probably know more about him than I do.
Yeah, there's a big bloke, catches the ball a lot, a young player, but had a great breakout season in the Belgian league last season. You would probably not come in as first choice.
Yeah.
But that's being said, I would have thought
is currently our first choice.
So if he is better than Bayindir, if Bayindir is number one, he is better than Bayindir. It's interesting. Yeah, it's a bit of a mess that I don't know what's happening with Onana because it looks like he doesn't like him, but there's no market for him. So it looks like maybe we're going to have 4 keepers in the squad and use the fact that Onana never plays to get him to push for a move.
Yeah, it seems a weird one to me. You would have someone compete with Onana, and that would hopefully push Onana to be better. And if not, this is young goalkeeper, so he's going to get better, and he can become the number one. Long term. But the fact that Onana's not played is a bit strange. Is he just making it clear to Onana that there is recourse, there is something we can do? If he's not playing well, he can be dropped.
Yeah, it's an odd one because he didn't do that at any point last season.
No.
Despite the fact
not getting better.
No, despite the fact that he wasn't very good last season. He at no point threatened to drop him. He clearly thought Bayindir isn't good enough to be a serious contender for the position. So to then start this season where results are very, very important very quickly, we'd sort of given up on the league for the last 2 months of last season. Yeah. So to sort of put your heart where your mouth is, your money where your mouth is with Bayindir feels like an odd choice.
Yeah, and he's been all right with his feet, Bayindir. That might be a big part of it, that he's worked on that part of his game, and Amarim's been impressed, and he's wanted to reward him. And he set up that great chance for Cunha. He's played some great passes in both games. But in terms of, and this is sort of a bit of an old man thing to say, I like my goalkeepers to be good at keeping the ball out of the net.
Yeah.
Bayindir is not.
No, I don't. I think he looks so vulnerable from corners. Like, it's a miracle we only conceded 1 against Arsenal.
Yeah, and we didn't concede any from corners yesterday.
I know.
I don't quite know how he managed it.
Half the corners he ended up sat on the floor. He is so vulnerable to a very small amount of pressure.
Yeah.
And even when there's no pressure, he seems to trip over his own feet and get lost. And you can see it in the defenders that they don't trust him. And that is an absolute death knell for a back unit is they have to trust the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And if they don't, and they are second guessing themselves,
they're going to make mistakes.
They look scared. It gives confidence to the opposition. It's an untenable situation. So
don't want that to become the norm for the season of goalkeepers, defenders who can't trust their goalkeeper.
No, we need to. Yeah, I think they'll address that. I think they'll sign Lemens, and I think it will mitigate that somewhat, because a lot of managing a team is being able to motivate players, and it's very difficult to motivate a player when there is no recourse, there's no option you can take. If you have one keeper who is off the level to play for Manchester United and isn't playing well, but you can't drop him, then he's going to carry on playing not very well.
Yeah.
Or you wait for him to play himself into form, which could take a long time. And with Onana, we've been waiting 3 years. He's not playing himself into much form yet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's a good signing. I think it will make a difference, not just in terms of when he's in the goal catching the ball. I think it will make a difference to the squad and to the atmosphere around the goalkeeping department.
Yeah. It's that one looks like it is going to happen, and then there's not a lot of time left for us to sign a midfielder. I mean, we said this at the start of the season, at the start of the summer. It seemed like we had to sell to buy. That clearly wasn't true, because we've not really sold anyone yet, and we've signed several players. But there might come a point where we have to sell before we can buy any more, and that might be after we sign this goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Højlund looks like he's on his way out. It looks like it was probably going to be a loan and then buy.
Yeah.
And then Garnacho's not really been any movement because Chelsea have to sell before they can buy him.
And no one's buying at their place.
Yeah. Malacia, I think we'll find a buyer for Malacia for very, very small fee, but that's and he's not even on very high wages, so that can't make much of an impact. And then Anthony, it's the same story all summer. Anthony, Real Betis, he wants to go to Real Betis. They want to sign him, but somewhere in the deal's just not being agreed.
Yeah. And there's not a huge amount of money in that league outside of the big three, but Betis have sold Cardoso this summer. They should have the money. I can see, we've done it as United have done it, of the sort of pauper act of, we absolutely cannot afford the fee you want, please lower it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that they do what United always do, which is find the money from somewhere and pay it. And by the end, I don't see Anthony sitting on the bench, not even on the bench, sitting at home for a year.
I think he would ultimately, if the European transfer window closes and he hasn't gone to Betis, I think he would then say, all right, well, I'll go to whoever. But while that is still an option, he's waiting for it.
Yeah. I think there's... Yeah, the club are trying to be sustainable. They've talked about living within their means. And
so a novel idea.
So I think a loan with a pretty strong option, a good fee, they would probably take that for Højlund and Anthony as well, because while it's not cash in the bank, they can always borrow for a year. It's not going to have a huge impact on the PSR position.
Yeah, if you know that money will come in.
Yeah, you can borrow against that. We've got an established line of credit. We can do sort of pull some levers, as what's his name? Barcelona would do.
I know that's not the name you were struggling to remember.
What is the name?
Laporta? He's the director.
We do have options available, and clearly we've made some. We've expedited some decisions this summer to try and improve the immediate position of the squad, and we'll see if it's worked if the forwards ever start scoring. But they are, what we don't want to do is what we've done in countless previous seasons, which is betting the house on getting in the Champions League, because it doesn't always work. You finish 6th and then you've got another 2 years of scrimping and saving and not being able to improve the squad when you need to.
Yeah.
And not having options in the market and having to pay on the credit card. And we cannot do that again. And we might see the club return to profitability for the first time in a good while, few years. We cannot then immediately gamble all of that on finishing in a very, very competitive Champions League spot.
Yeah.
The club have spoken about sort of budgeting to be in the Europa League, which a lot of fans sort of misread as either a lack of ambition or a sort of entitlement one way or the other.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think
it's a realistic aim.
It's a realistic aim. Is what it's supposed to be, and you have to have a figure in mind for when you're budgeting. So I think they hopefully won't gamble too much on that, on finishing above that, because
I wouldn't gamble too much on finishing in the Europa League at the minute.
No, but it's about risk and reward, and we've seen it so often in the past of very short-term financial planning and squad planning, and the noises are that they are taking that more seriously now, and
it seems to be the case.
It seems to be the case with the signings they've made. They've spent a lot of money. There's no arguing that, but they're not buying specialists for the manager that only the manager wants. They're not buying very expensive, very old players
who don't really want to play for us.
Yeah, they're not forcing players to sign, and they are looking to sort of do quite sort of creative moves to get players off the books as well, rather than re-signing players on new contracts so they don't lose value.
Yeah, that was for a long time. That was just ridiculous that we would just give anyone a contract, so we could, in theory, sell them for a fee, no matter how little they played. Right, we gave Phil Jones,
likelihood of them ever garnering a fee of any kind.
We gave Phil Jones and Marcus Rojo new contracts when they just literally never played.
I know.
So I'm glad we're not doing that anymore.
Yeah, and cutting losses is the gambler's fallacy of throwing good money after bad, where you sign a player, it doesn't work out, but you cannot take a loss on them because it's so you end up paying their wages for 10 years.
Yeah, and we're still paying for that.
Yeah, you have to be willing to let players walk away and cut your losses, and they seem to be doing that. So there seems to be a bit of joined up thinking and grown up thinking in the squad management and the financial planning at the moment, but this is, as United fans, we can appreciate that and see how it may return dividends in the long term.
Yeah.
But we need points on the board. We need to see goals.
Desperately.
And, it's...
maybe we should sign a really old striker who's scored lots of goals before and give him 300 grand a week.
Yeah. We're not going to be Borussia Dortmund fans who celebrate the net spend every year. We want to see a good team out there on the pitch, and we have to be understanding that the club are trying to rectify long-term mistakes, but also we're allowed to be demanding that it absolutely has not been good enough for the whole of Amarim's reign.
Yeah.
And whether that's Amarim or the squad or the bomb squad and ruining the atmosphere or whatever the excuse is, it can't continue, and we have to see change in the short and medium term, no matter what the long term looks like.
A lot of people are willing to be patient. You can be patient with the results up to a point. When there's encouraging signs, and you have to win some games.
Yeah.
And obviously, again, the caveat is always there. It's 2 games into the season.
Yeah.
Maybe Fulham was a blip, but it's not great if the blip comes at the start.
No.
Doesn't look great. But we are willing to be patient with results. So we don't expect to be winning the league. A lot of people don't expect to be finishing the Champions League this season.
Yeah.
But we've got to be a lot better than we are.
Yeah, there's people called for patience during the David Moyes season when we finished 7th. People called for patience during the Louis van Gaal season when we won the FA Cup.
Yeah.
And the club sacked the
managers.
Finished
5th on goal difference.
And finished 5th. People called for patience when we finished 8th under Erik ten Hag, and the club gave him that patience.
And then sacked him a couple months later.
You cannot finish. You can't. We are so below those levels now.
Yeah. We've already not sacked him when he finished 15th.
That we are, we would the 8th place finish would be a marked improvement.
Yeah.
A 7th place finish under David Moyes would be a marked improvement on the results we've seen.
Yeah.
And maybe not in, maybe the writing was on the wall and he wasn't going to be the United manager, and the intangible things of getting the fans on side and feeling like he could return you to the place you want to be.
Yeah.
Maybe there's more in Amarim's favour than the previous managers in the past, but the results are so much worse than every manager,
Yeah.
not even United manager, every Premier League manager that's managed to stay in the Premier League for any length of time.
Yeah. I was watching Match of the Day and they showed the fact that Graham Potter had the lowest points per game out of any permanent West Ham manager in the Premier League, and it was still higher than Amarim's points per game.
Yeah,
it was 1.
Yeah, I can believe that. Yeah, like I say, no one would sit here and defend the results.
No.
And the patience will only go so far. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, got 2 games this week.
2, it's odd to say this 2 games into the season, but 2 must-win games.
Yeah, absolutely. Grimsby in the League Cup and Burnley at home.
This season's Southampton.
Yeah. We have to win them both. There is no excuse for not winning either of them games.
We have to look good.
Even if we'd won both the first 2, we seriously have to win both these games.
And we've talked all this talk of patience, and he's got a couple of months. Lose both of these games, and there is a big question mark.
Yeah. International break's a great time to sack a manager. So.
Yeah, we're not going to get into who do you want to replace him.
No, it's too soon for that. We'll do that after the Burnley loss.
Yes, but big week, and hopefully, I don't think 2 ropey performances with 2 narrow wins does him that many favours.
No,
it probably
does him a lot more than 2 narrow losses.
Yes.
But it doesn't buy him a lot of time.
No, you need to see good performances, goals for you scored by United players, not scored by Rodrigo Muniz.
Yeah.
I think we need to see Cobby play.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity, the Grimsby game, to give Sesko a start, give some academy minutes, and give Cobby a start and see what he can do.
Because he absolutely, Amarim can tell us all that it is better for Bruno Fernandes to be playing in that position, but it's very hard to believe on the basis of the evidence.
Yeah.
So why not let Cobby prove you wrong, or let Cobby prove you right? And then, Cobby plays and has a dreadful game and he starts Fernandes again, then he can use that to argue it. But until he gives Cobby a chance, he's asking us to trust him.
Yeah. The Burnley game, especially with the Grimsby game coming first, obviously the ideal scenario is you play a few players who've not had many minutes, Sesko gets a goal or 2, we win that comfortably, go into the Burnley game. It is as much about the result as the performance against Burnley, because we beat Ipswich and Southampton at home last season, but they weren't great performances. We edged the game against Ipswich 3-2.
Yeah.
Southampton, we were losing for most of the game, and then Ahmad scored a hat-trick.
Yeah.
We have to
show
this
up.
isn't a ridiculous thing to say, but we have to be comfortably better than Burnley.
Yeah.
And it's not guaranteed that we are. Burnley have got their first win of the season.
Yeah. I think you're not asking them to move mountains.
Not asking for much, surely.
We shall see. I'm not. Well, yeah.
Are you confident that we're going to win?
I wish I could say I am confident that we are better than Burnley. There's not that much evidence of it.
No.
I am going to say, and you can hold me to this, I am confident that we are better than Grimsby. I'm willing to put my.
That doesn't mean I'm confident we'll beat them.
No, absolutely not. But I am confident that we are capable of playing better than Burnley. Grimsby, sorry. But it's it's no guarantee of a win. And a lot of fans would say that a cup run this season could, because once you conclude you're not going to win the league and you're not in Europe, you can't afford to not
be in the cups,
to not care about the Carabao Cup. You have to take it seriously, and it's a good chance to win a trophy, and it would go a long way to getting fans on side for him again.
Yeah. And I think he'll play a few first teamers to get them up to speed and hopefully get some goals, not just for Sesko, but maybe for Cunha and Mbeumo. But we should be able to beat Grimsby with any 11 players in our squad.
Yeah.
So you want to see a couple of new faces as well.
Yeah, take not even risks, but take some different decisions and see how it goes.
Yeah.
If I'd like to see Cobby. I'd like to see Aidan Heaven play. Not seen him play. Maybe start Ahmad closer to the goal. Start him, give him a start. Let him play his way into a bit of form. Maybe give Onana some minutes. I don't know what his plan is there.
I don't know what the plan is going to be.
Harry Maguire. I'll always like to see a bit of him. But yeah, 2 big games and beyond the results.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Yeah, it's a big one. And then international break.
No joy. Everyone's 2 favourite words.
Yeah. I have no idea who England are playing.
No, right.
But after the international break, and we'll talk more about this in next week. Just trying to be a bit more podcasty there.
Yeah, nice.
Tune in. We'll talk more about this in the next episode, but it's a big game, the City game, after the international break. Whether we win these next 2 games or not, it's always a big game playing City away. And we need, it's a great way to get the fans on side. It did a bit last season for Amorim.
Yeah.
So
there's, as when you look back through, the City game seems to be slightly less important to the mood of the club than the Liverpool game.
Yeah.
I don't think any United manager survives getting battered by Liverpool at home. It's usually they get sacked not too many weeks after they get battered by Liverpool at home.
Yeah.
We did for Ollie, did for Eric, it did for Moyes, so the City game doesn't seem to have that gravitas because there's a history there, but
it's early in the season as well, but
we cannot afford to get battered by City.
No.
A team who definitely didn't get battered by City, Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah.
They played this week.
Obviously, I mean, we didn't get to enjoy City losing for long because we didn't win. But also, City lost, which is great, but now I'm worried about Spurs. Spurs have looked really good in their 2 games.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this, but I'm sure plenty of United fans are looking over at Thomas Frank.
Yeah. Would you like to respond?
Well, no, I just think, like I say, it's not my opinion that we should have gone and got Thomas Frank instead. It's very easy to say that now.
Yeah.
We did interview him when we didn't sack Ten Hag. But just Spurs do look like a really good side. He's obviously a good manager.
Yeah.
And like I said this a couple of weeks ago, I don't know what the upper limit is with Thomas Frank.
Yeah.
Whereas with Amorim, we can all dream that he can win the Premier League and who knows what else. But, Spurs look a really good side. And it's early days, but they do look slightly vindicated in sacking Postecoglou and replacing him.
I mean, Postecoglou won 9 of his first 10 games or something.
Yeah.
A very good start as well. I think my response to anyone talking about is you absolutely cannot compare the Spurs job and the United job.
Yeah.
There is only one United job. I think probably the Barcelona job.
Yeah, maybe the Brazil job.
In terms of the scrutiny and the size of the task at hand.
Yeah.
I also think that they're 2 different tasks set before them. Thomas Frank is a very good manager, and he has gone into that Spurs side and he has looked at what is in front of him and he has put a system in place to get them to win some Premier League games.
Yeah.
And that is a very difficult skill that Thomas Frank has.
Yeah.
It is a different skill to building a side to be a top elite side.
Yeah. Can there not be some
compromise there? There can. And a very, very top level manager could come in, start doing one job and transition to doing the other job. But I don't know of a manager who has done that. There is always and I don't like to, because both of these managers did much better than Amorim has done so far. But the examples that are always brought out are Klopp and Arteta.
Yeah.
They are the 2 managers who have gone into these sort of calamity clubs and turned them into elite challenges. And they both came in and struggled for the first while.
They both finished 8th in the Premier League.
And it is a different job to go in and look at what you have and see what is the most likely way to get the most points from this group of players, and that is what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did, I think, and it's great.
Yeah.
And
It's a different
then
approach.
it plateaus, and whether or not that plateau is good enough is the whole game. It's
Yeah. And it's the thing. The difference, I suppose, is with Klopp and Arteta. They had games early on in those first couple of seasons where they fell apart and it went to pieces. But they only ever finished eighth.
yeah,
They never
absolutely,
finished 15th.
absolutely.
And I really want to believe, and I do believe to a point, that is where we are. We have to be patient with the manager, but I suppose we're digging up old ground here from this earlier in the episode.
But if this season is one of those seasons where Liverpool or Arsenal finished eighth, it could well be. It could have started this way and be one of those seasons, or it could be the season where Spurs and United finished 15th and 17th. They have similar hallmarks in some of the games, and we will see which one it turns out to be.
Yeah.
Any other games you catch this weekend?
Well, Burnley got their first win, so all of the 3 promoted sides have won a game, which none of them won a game till October. It looks, the fact that Brentford won a game as well, who a lot of teams were worried about, maybe suggests there will be a bit more of a relegation battle this year. We'll play our part in there. For sure.
You fear for West Ham, and you fear for Wolves.
Yeah. I like Wolves as manager, and I said in the preview for the season that I thought Wolves would be fine.
Yeah.
But they're not looking great.
No.
They might be selling Strand Larsen. So they need to pull their finger out. And a lot of people, and I don't necessarily disagree, just can't see anything in Graham Potter now.
No. It's a weird one because he had the world at his feet when he was at Brighton. And, he took the wrong job at the wrong time, probably.
Yeah, it's hard to say no. When you're at Brighton and you take him to that level, that's what you hope for when you take the Brighton job. Is, if I do well enough here, I'll get a big job. And he took the Chelsea job and it all unravelled, and then it's not going well at West Ham.
Is it the right club for him? I don't know. Is it a too traditionalist of a club?
Yeah, they don't really seem to match each other's. And maybe he'll if he does get sacked, maybe he'll go back down to the Championship and do a really good job again with the right club. He might have slightly rushed into taking the West Ham job, and not time wise because he took quite a while, but maybe he just looked at the size of the club and not the kind of club.
Yes.
So West Ham, you do worry about, and on the evidence that we've seen so far, they've been the worst side.
Yes, and the 3 Championship sides look competitive, which is a good sign for the league.
See, yeah, definitely.
Hopefully not too competitive on Saturday.
Yeah, they beat Sunderland at home. We'd like to be a tougher proposition than Sunderland at home, but we aren't necessarily.
I would make perhaps we can do. Leeds looked quite good against Everton, and Arsenal made short work of them.
Yeah,
a couple of goals for Gyökeres. He seems to have.
This is annoying. You're definitely on the hate watch train with Gyökeres.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, anyone can score against Leeds. Leeds.
He's a flat track bully,
And that was one of the sticks used to beat him as one of the strikes in the con column of signing him was, is he able to do it against good sides?
Yeah.
Thankfully for him, Leeds is a bad side. Yeah. So
he couldn't even do it against us, though.
We are a bad side. Maybe we're better than Leeds, and that is quite the bold claim. But maybe we are slightly better in defending than Leeds are. But Leeds have scored a goal and we haven't. So,
well, we sort of. Theirs was a penalty. Ours was an own goal. So
we missed the penalty.
We're not winning any prizes there, really.
No. We'll see what happens with Leeds this season.
Yeah.
You'd imagine any run that Leeds go on comes very much in a post-Farker world.
Yeah, although
Leeds fans don't like him.
Yeah, and the board thought about sagging him when they got promoted. They're losing 5-0 at Arsenal. Any team can do that.
Yes.
City lost 5-1 there last season, and it's not gonna hinge whether they stay up or not. And they ground out a win against Everton. So it seems like they're all capable of grinding out wins. Which has certainly not been true of the last couple of seasons.
I think the issue last season was none of them tried to grind out wins. They all tried to play beautiful, expansive football and weren't any good at it.
And Burnley did that last time they were in the Premier League as well.
Yeah.
They all seem a lot more pragmatic and adaptable.
Yeah, it seems to have learned some lessons. Maybe the talk was, or the wisdom seemed to be, that because Vincent Kompany came up, tried to play that way, it didn't work, and then got the Bayern Munich job.
Yeah.
That all of the managers that came up the season after thought, well, maybe I'll get the Bayern Munich job or equivalent. And it nearly worked.
Russell Martin got the Rangers job out.
Well, he got sacked and they got the Rangers job out of it. Kieran McKenna nearly worked for him. He seemingly decided to stay at Ipswich rather than go to United or Chelsea. And the other relegated manager was Ruud van Nistelrooy, who probably will never manage again.
Yeah, God knows what's become of him.
Didn't seem to go very well. Yeah. Probably, again, the wrong club at the wrong time for him.
Yeah, so, he was really riding on the back of the 4 games as caretaker manager at United, 2 of which involved beating Leicester.
So maybe the team's coming up this side and thought it might be worth trying to get some points on the board rather than just trying to interview for the Bayern Munich job that Vincent Kompany still has. It's not on the market just yet.
Yeah. What time are we on?
About 55 minutes.
Oh, lovely. Well, you'll be there on Saturday against Burnley?
Potentially.
Oh, do you not?
I might have double booked, but it's fine. I will.
Okay. Well, United takes precedence.
Wow.
Podcast today.
Yeah.
I won't be there. I'll be on holiday. So I suppose I've double booked as well.
Yeah. But we'll see. It would be nice because we didn't get to have a pint last time because the 100 cricket match was on. Is it the 100? The 100 cricket was on. So we.
You sound like somebody who doesn't know about football trying to talk about football there.
Well, I don't know about cricket.
Yeah. So, it's a bad thing to not know about football.
Yeah, you're allowed to not know about cricket. So hopefully we get a pint in the sunshine.
Yeah, I'll certainly be having a pint in the sunshine.
Either way.
Spain.
It always feels better watching United lose when you are on a beach with a pint than when you are on the tram home. Rattling through Dane Road as someone who's clearly been punched in the head yells out the window. That is referencing a specific incident, by the way. That's not
doesn't happen every
week. Most weeks, but not every week.
Yeah. So it's
a big week.
Yeah, it's a big week.
We'll not say make or break, but it could be. It
could be a lot closer to breaking.
Yes, could eat into the very, very, very small bank of credit that is left if we go out of the cup and lose to Burnley at home.
Yeah. Let's not end on that. Let's hope for 2 wins. 2 wins out of 2.
2 wins. Lots of lovely goals. I'm not going to stick with the phrase "lots of lovely goals."
Yeah, roll on the Reds for lots of lovely goals.
Hooray! Right.
Yeah. Well, we'll see you next week. We're attempting to be more. I think we should attempt to be slightly more professional in our intros and outros. It's nice that anyone listening gets to come on a journey with us, becoming
learning how to do podcasts.
Yeah. So thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. I'll be still on holiday on Monday, so we'll have to record slightly late next month. Sorry to mess up your plans, everyone. Make sure you follow us on social media, Red Army Reaction, and we'll see you out there.